My name is Katie and welcome to my channel, Duckpotatoes World. We are getting up this morning with Vlogmas Day 7. Whole week! Yay! Let's see. We read Luke chapter 6 yesterday, and I'm gonna look at my notes because I've slept since then, y'all. I've been trying to talk about it without looking at my notes, but it's easier. I know we read about the sermons of Jesus and the calling of the apostles, or the naming of them, I guess. Oh, so it opens with the disciples walking through a field, and they're cracking some grain and eating it, and the Pharisees are complaining about it. And it struck me, did the Pharisees just follow Jesus and the disciples around? I'm sure there was some reason they were all there together, but it just seemed funny to me. Like, here's Jesus and his disciples walking from one place to another place, and here are the Pharisees just following them around. And it's just so they can find things to complain about, apparently. We have the Pharisees complaining about Jesus healing on the Sabbath. He heals a man's hand on the Sabbath, and the Pharisees find fault with that. And then we have the naming of the apostles. Oh, it made me laugh that the last apostle they name is Judas the Iscariot, who was a traitor. No mystery, no foreshadowing. They just gotta go out and tell you the end. That guy, he's the traitor. Just in case anyone wasn't sure. And then we get to enjoy the sermons of Jesus, the Beatitudes, and the parables of Jesus about the person with a log in his eye, and his brother who has a speck, and the blind leading the blind, and the house that's built on the solid rock. When I was a little kid, we used to sing a song in church about the wise man built his house upon the rock. So that was fun. It brought back some memories of being a little kid and singing about that. And this is also one of the places where we find the golden rule. And it's interesting because in our homeschool, I've been actually teaching my kids this week about higher law. So higher law is the concept that the government is not the higher authority, and that there is a higher authority. It's the whole concept behind the Nuremberg trials after World War II, because the men on trial and the women on trial claimed that they were just following their government's orders. Therefore, what they were doing couldn't be wrong. And then the trials said, no, there's just some things that are just wrong no matter what, and you ought to know them, and they come from a higher law. So we were talking about higher law. Well, the two main ideas behind higher law are: do everything you say you will do, and do not encroach on other persons or their property. So those are the two. Like, if you get those two down, you'll be good to go. And I often hear the golden rule quoted: don't do to someone what you don't want them to do to you. But the way it's actually written in the Bible is a little different. It actually says, do to others what you want them to do to you. And so we were talking with my kids just yesterday, actually, before I read the Bible, about what that means and how that looks. Yes, it's great not to do something mean to someone when you don't want them to do a mean thing to you, but it's an even bigger order to tell someone to do for others what you want them to do for you. So one of the big chores in our house is having the kitchen, and our kids rotate through chores, so they have a different part of the house every week that they're responsible for. And our kitchen's always a big deal because there are 6 and sometimes more people that eat 3 meals a day in our house, and it's a heavy job. And whenever somebody has the kitchen, they complain, they don't like it, and very rarely does anyone go and help them. So I told them, when you have the kitchen, what would you want your brothers to do for you? And they're like, well, not leave the dishes all over the house and put things in the dishwasher and be helpful. And I'm like, so what the Bible is telling you is that when you don't have the kitchen, you should be doing those things for your brother. Like, that's the way we should treat each other. In fact, a lot of the sermons in this chapter of Luke were about how we should treat one another. And so with that in mind, I definitely felt convicted. I don't always do for others what I would want them to do for me. I don't always treat others as selflessly as the Bible teaches I should. So I'm going to work on that this week. I'm going to make a conscientious effort to do for somebody what I would like them to do for me, and to do it without expecting anything, regardless of whether they ever do that for me or not. That's how Jesus commanded us to treat and live with one another. So I'm going to try to do that over the next few weeks. And I did manage to get day 6 all knit up. So we'll look at that next. It is looking good. Oop, I put my needle stopper on there. I don't always remember to do that. There we go. Very nice. So I don't know how well the color is going to show today because we are stuck indoors. It's all rainy. We couldn't get outside to film. But that is days 1 through 6. And I think I like both of these colors. They don't contrast as much as, say, like down here we have this big contrast. So it's interesting to look at the different color values going on and see how the different ones, you know, from heavier contrast to that one right down there is not very different in color value. This one up here is not very different in color value. But I like that it's different all throughout the shawl and it's not the same. And there's my little duck. One of these days I'm going to have to wear my Christmas duck outfit for you guys. It's not an outfit. It's a set. No, that didn't come out right. But anyway, I digress. That is day 7's work, or excuse me, day 6's work. And now we get to open day 7. Yay. All right. Well, that fell right off the counter, but okay. I'm sitting in front of my piano today. I do not play the piano. I barely play the guitar, but I've actually had quite a bit more luck learning guitar than I ever did trying to learn piano. But I do have a son who plays, and he does a beautiful job. Oh, I have to untie it first. Y'all, I'm tired this morning. Day 7. I have no idea what color will be next. I have an imagination. I don't want to say I have no imagination, but about some things I just don't have a lot of vision. My mom can get this idea for an outfit in her head and then go and fix it, and my friend Jennifer can get this idea for home decor in her head and go make it happen. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's lovely, but when they're describing it to me, I have no idea how that's supposed to work. Until they show me, I just don't get it. So I think I'm the same way with the colors. I have no idea what should be next. I'm glad that I don't have to decide. All right, we have another brown. It looks actually pretty similar to yesterday's brown. I'd have to hold them up side by side, and I probably need to get some better light because it's not very bright in here. But we have another brown, and the goodie today, oh, it's a keychain. It's a little butterfly keychain. Oh, how cute. This is giving my inner 90s child a little thrill. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember the 90s, but in the 90s it was all about the butterfly clips in the hair. That's really cute. I like that. So I got a little butterfly keychain, got my day 7 color, and it is time to go and knit. I'm going to go work on day 7, and I will meet you guys back here for day 8 tomorrow. Have a Merry Christmas.